Howdy-ho and welcome to Rauta's Reviews. This time I have a rather atypical album for the channel, even though this might sound like, by the name, and look like, by the cover, a very typical black metal release. Because this is not exactly what you're looking for in terms of black metal. This comes with a jewel case with a digital sleeve or whatever the slip case is called. Anyway, the band in question is in the Company of Serpents, and as you can see, there is a side above and below, so you're definitely going to some places black metal related with this one. And the album is called Lux, I guess would be the proper pronunciation, referring, I guess, to light. But this one is no music of light. This is very much very dark in a way, kind of fuzzy in a way, and also very black and white when it comes to the actual release here. Well, no point, I guess, removing that. This is just how the jewel case looks like underneath the tray. Then you obviously have the CD, which is just kind of a black sun on this cross, and, well, the symbol which you might have seen in some occult places. Anyway, the style here is quite something to differ from your typical black metal scene. It's actually a combination of stoner, sludge, doom metal, and a little bit of death metal. Can't really say it's kind of a beyond that, but maybe for different people it will push different buttons of association. You know, sometimes people get really interesting ideas like, hey, that doesn't sound like that at all. It sounds more like, you get the idea. But that's how it goes. Music is an individual experience, and sometimes the other people find something that we don't, or vice versa. This is the fourth album by this Denver, Colorado, USA-based band, which has been there for now 10 years. To be honest, I was a little bit surprised to find out this is the fourth album by the band already, given that I haven't even encountered the name previously. Based on Metal Archives, everybody seems to like this. Well, everybody meaning one person and doing one review, but still positive reviews. I don't want to be this negative Joe to say I'm going to a little bit disagree on that, because first of all, what I really like with this album is it doesn't really sound like, well, all the rest. I mean, I've gone through my share of stoner bands and sludge bands, and I'm not particularly a fan of that stuff. I might be even totally wrong person to review this album altogether, but hey, I got this in. I think it's only a fair deal to give this a fair review after a few spins. And it's not like this album is bad. Quite the contrary. It is just kind of a difficult album to enjoy fully. Maybe because it's of these various styles, and maybe it's because partially this band operates around those fields or genres which are not exactly my favorite cup of tea or coffee, in case you prefer that kind of a metaphor. Now, this album comes with 44 minutes, 8 tracks. That is, some of the tracks are quite lengthy, like the Fool's Journey one in the beginning. Now, with this kind of music, in my opinion, it doesn't really bother that these are lengthier tracks and more like doing this kind of post-metal way of, songwriting. That is, building this kind of atmosphere, but rather, not so much going to different places. It's all about creating this kind of a cool vibe. Fuzzy guitar sound, strong bass, rather nice and clear, crisp, pounding drums, and then vocals which are just, in my opinion, way too easy to kind of forget on the background. Like, for instance, there are some more that metallic growls, but beyond that, nothing really sticks in the vocal department. Well, in my opinion anyway. But what matters is that how does this kind of a hybrid metal work out? I mean, is it any good when you really have stuff coming from multiple directions? Let's put it that way. Now, the answer would be yes, no. It kind of makes sense because this band is able to put all these different ingredients together without sounding kind of a hipster or, for the sake of it. Let's do something really different for the sake of it. No, this all makes sense. I mean, they're combining stoner elements to post-metal elements, to doom metal elements, to sludge element, even to death metal elements without sounding kind of a funny, goofy hipster or whatever. The thing here is, these guys don't have too much of any of these stuff here, but more like a nice amount of what you would call this kind of a hybrid thing. And that's, my friends, how you make different styles work together, like nicely, and making it so that, it actually makes sense. But let's be honest about it. This isn't an album that has a lot of catchy riffs or memorable chorus parts or stuff like that. So in this sense, even though this isn't black metal, this kind of is similar in style or ways of songwriting that you more worry about the proper atmosphere. Having music that kind of plays nicely on the background or on the foreground. Doesn't really matter if it pushes all the right buttons. But if you're looking more, say, hit-based material, like, those catchy songs or memorable riffs or chorus parts you like to sing along, well, this is not exactly an album like that. And I don't think, obviously, it was even intended to do that role. No, this is something that is kind of hard to recommend because of these various styles here, the various genres and pieces that sometimes may feel like it's a little bit off, but overall, in this context, it kind of makes sense. So if you are into stoner, if you're into doom and, well, sludge, obviously you want to check it out. Now, if you're a hardcore death metal element, by hardcore I don't mean like hardcore punk or anything like that, like die-hard death metal fanatic, now this might not be something you're looking for. However, if you're a little bit a fan of doom death bands, or you don't mind doom metal bands doing like beyond clean vocals and all, this could be something right up your alley. Like said, give yourself a fair treat with the album. I think it's worth listening to. Just don't expect too much of any of these various angles or corners or genres, and you're pretty good to go. In my opinion, rather interesting release, but as an album, decent, not great. With these words, I urge you to check it out. You will find the links provided in the description box. Go